So it's a pleasure to meet you all, and thank you so much for taking the time out. I also have been asked to cut short my presentation from 10 minutes to 5 minutes, and brevity has never been my strong suit, but I'm going to try really hard. My God, more pressure. More pressure. Okay. I'm going to start this off with a small anecdote. So there's a team member who's managed this entire conference with a 7-month-old baby in her hand every single day. Right? Over the course of the last 2-3 months, she's been managing this conference, and she's done a hell of a job to ensure that all of us are together and, that we're going through such amazing content. And I was sitting inside the room with her, and a journalist and a PR team and so on and so forth came in and asked her, "So, how old is your baby?" And she said, 7 months old. And the journalist was like, "How do you manage?" And she was like, you got to do what you got to do. And then I said, "Yeah, really, how do you manage?" So she told me, "Listen, I have to wake up extremely early in the morning to ensure that I can get a lot of my work done, then take care of my child through the day, then work extremely late in the night to ensure that I'm getting the rest of my work done so that nothing suffers." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the subject that I'm going to spend 5 minutes on. I run an organization called Mentoria, which is a parenting wellness and well-being institution that works to embed parenting well-being within organizations, and we work with 150 companies with a single mission of transforming the lives of them and their families. Through the course of our entire session today at WOW, we've talked about all different kinds of well-being priorities, whether it's health and wellness, mental health, emotional well-being, professional development, financial planning, and a lot of different innovative ideas. And I remember being seated here and the tech not working several times in the day. Yes. I remember being seated here and Yogesh in the start made a presentation about the research that Anexi did and found that 53% of employees in the 30 to 49 age group are relatively disengaged at work. Social well-being having the lowest score. If you remember those charts, you saw 50 plus, extremely high. You saw 30 to 49, almost halved. And so I went to my father, Dr. Arora, and I said, "Why do you think this is happening? You've been in the HR world for a very long time. Any sort of thoughts?" And he said, "Nikhar, let me tell you something very personal. From the time you turned 18 and went off to live your own life, my engagement levels automatically rose." How many of us are parents in the room? A quick show of hands. Now, to all of us, what are the top parenting challenges that we face on a daily basis? Just 2-3 responses, because remember, brevity.
Managing a 27-year-old.
Oh man, why didn't I see that coming? Getting lectured by a 19-year-old. Phenomenal. What else? Keeping a 10-year-old off the laptop and screen. What else? Still you don't know anything. I see a lot of hardcore coming and I love it. Right? We have time for one more. Sibling rivalry. Right? Now, a lot of people came here and spoke about different kinds of activities in context of wellness and well-being. But very rarely did parental well-being or parent well-being come up as a subject. But if you were to really look at it, parent well-being actually impacts every single one of these aspects. Whether it's health and wellness, whether it's mental health, whether it's emotional well-being, professional development, financial planning, the right kind of parent well-being strategies can actually completely change the life of a 30 to 49-year-old. Because ultimately, what does a parent really care about? And each of your organizations have a large segment of working parents across age groups. What a parent really cares about is their kid. I don't care if my health or wellness is not good, my child's health or wellness has to be top. I don't care if my professional development is happening or not, my child has to be in the right career. I don't care as much about my emotional well-being as long as I'm able to ensure my kid is happy. While that may not be the ideal mindset, it's how most parents think. They're selfless creatures trying to ensure that their kids are directed towards a happy, productive, and successful life. But if you were to imagine the journey of a parent, right from a prenatal stage to childbirth, to infancy, to adolescence, to teenage. Some people told me, Nikhar, are you a gynac that you're having this conversation with people? But, jokes aside, the entire journey is full of extremely different and intimidating challenges for both parents. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the real question is that in metro cities with nuclear families, with parents working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, where is this village? Even before a kid arrives, and I want you to look at this, we're all HR stakeholders, right? Look at this from two perspectives. Look at it from a diversity, inclusion, and equity perspective, and also look at it from a well-being perspective. For a working mother, she's thinking, oh shit, what's going to happen with my career? From a professional perspective. From a personal perspective, she's thinking, oh man, I'm going to go through a lot of emotional and physical changes. Who do I speak to? Where do I reach out? The parents collectively are thinking, oh, how are we going to financially plan for this child? What is the education going to cost? What are different aspects going to cost? There's advice pouring in from all kinds of familial sources, very difficult to filter out which is right, which is not. And as the kid is born, and as the kid continues to grow, the problems and the challenges only get more and more intimidating. From which, do I have a creche or a preschool around my area? What school do I choose for my child? Will I be able to give enough time at work? Will I be able to grow as quickly? Will people judge me at work because I'm a parent and therefore not give me enough responsibilities? And that in itself causes a huge amount of stress and anxiety to parents within organizations. And like you've all said, when a kid is young, from technology addiction to am I building the right value systems to positive parenting to there are thousands of things that parents continue to keep thinking about. And as the kid grows older, we've got one complaining about a 27-year-old kid here, right? As the kid continues to grow older, the challenges get far more intimidating with how do I help my kid choose the right career? How do I help my kid choose the right college? How do I help my kid get the right admissions, crack the right entrance exams? And yes, life is easy for the 2-3% extremely bright children who figured it all out. But unfortunately, 93% of us who haven't continue to go back to our parents and say, please help us figure it out. And like somebody said at the back, we still don't know how. Right? Because nobody gave us that manual or that playbook to say, this is how you parent. Now their struggles aren't just impacting them, but they're impacting every single organization in the country. With distraction, with presenteeism. It's become a big challenge in organizations where I'm physically there, but I'm mentally just absent. I'm not doing much. I'm not as productive as I should be. Disengagement, absenteeism, low productivity, focus, motivation, attrition. To give you some data, 78, and this is from ASSOCHAM, CNBC, and a little bit from UNICEF, we've got 78% of working parents in India experiencing a work-life conflict, 56% missing work due to childcare issues, 80% feeling guilty about not spending enough time with their kids, 52% saying they don't have parenting wellness programs in their organizations. All of it leading to poor mental health and costing us about $14 billion a year. About 150 organizations across India have managed to change that trend, have managed to embed parenting wellness within their well-being DNA and prioritize it. Because a lot of times the question is, we have so many things on our plate, how do we prioritize? They prioritized it realizing that this one aspect, this one change, this one support to every working parent in my company can actually solve a host of professional and personal challenges. How do these organizations do it, or what do they witness? And I'm happy to share case studies outside with each and every one of you. a 3x rise in engagement, a 35% increase in motivation, a 23% reduction in attrition, and 80,000 families impacted. Because what can't be measured is useless, right? How do these organizations do it? This is where the hard sell comes. They work with us. They launch career guidance programs for employees who have teenage kids. They launch parenting workshops for employees who have children across all ages on 40 different subjects through the course of the year. They create online parenting communities for parents who have toddlers and adolescents and at a prenatal stage and at a teenage stage, where parents within the organization can support each other, can talk to each other, can consult child psychologists and so on and so forth. They launch special education needs programs within their company to help parents identify and support kids who have special learning needs like ADHD or autism or dyslexia or dyscalculia or something of that variety, to ensure that they're promoting neurodiversity within their organization and their families.